It's the Fort Hays State University Coaches Show on Eagle Community Television, brought to you by Eagle Communications.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Welbrock, and it's good to have you with us as we resume the program after a couple of weeks off for the Christmas break. The Tigers basketball teams getting cranked back up. A busy stretch, 4 games in 8 days. They're midway through that after home games with Missouri Southern on Saturday and then Southwest Baptist on Monday night. The Lady Tigers winning both of them to run their winning streak to 11. The men split after the heartbreaking 72-70 loss to Southwest Baptist on Monday. Both teams on the road. Key games at Lindenwood Thursday and then wrapping it up with Lincoln on Saturday afternoon in Jefferson City. The program brought to you once again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill in Hays, where the fire's always burning. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk some women's basketball. Head coach Tony Hobson joins us right after this on Tiger Talk.
Hi, I'm Gerard Welbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, inviting you to join me for Tiger Talk. Airs Monday nights from 6 until 6:30 on Tiger Radio Mix 103, and then the video replay on Eagle Cable Channel 14 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We'll talk Fort Hays State football with head coach Chris Brown, preview the last game, and look ahead to the next week's action on Tiger Talk. Monday night, 6 till 6:30 on Tiger Radio Mix 103 and on Eagle Cable Channel 14.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock, head women's coach Tony Hobson. The Lady Tigers on an 11-game win streak. They moved to 12-1, picking up a couple of really hard-fought wins Saturday. Missouri Southern, who was ranked 22nd in the country, and then on Monday night, victory over the Bearcats of Southwest Baptist. Let's go back to Saturday first, and you knew it'd be tough. Southern got off to a very good start. They were 8-0. They've lost 3 in a row now, but kind of like we talked, a little bit indicative of the teams they've played, but a good basketball team. And boy, you got off to about as good of a start as you could hope, then really had to work in that second half, but bottom line, got the win.
Well, anytime you can get off to that kind of start, you know, you like your chances, especially at home. I was a little surprised at the fact that they opened up and just tried to play straight man. They had limited double teams, and I think Southern has a good post player, but she's a freshman, and you know, anytime Kate can get one-on-one play inside, she's going to score well, and so she got us off to a good start. We did a good job of executing and getting the ball to her when she needed it, and then we just, like you said, we kind of hung on, but I don't know if that's the right phrase, but that's kind of what it felt like. They switched and went zone. Started double teaming and trying to slow the game down, and which they did. And as we slowed down offensively, it seemed like our defense also slowed down a little bit, and we started giving them some open looks. So they did make a little run at us the second half, but we kind of regrouped and hit a couple shots and ended up finishing okay.
Had to come right back then on Monday, take on Southwest Baptist, and we've talked about it before when you're playing these cross section games, I guess, in the conference going up against the East Division. That's their only game. It was your second in 3 days, and kind of felt that a little bit. SBU with some great energy, and you had a couple of challenges, but your team was able to answer each of them and got a nice win.
Well, I thought we were a little sluggish last night. I really did, and you can give them some credit. I thought defensively they were solid. They had a good plan. They put very good pressure on the perimeter, better than about anybody we've played, really. So we were a little short at guard. We lost Jill to an ankle sprain on Saturday, so our rotation was just a little shorter, and that could have added to our fatigue factor a little bit. But first half, you know, we kind of just existed and did what we could. We ended up 2 at half, but knew we were in a game, that's for sure. And then the second half we opened it up, and I thought played much better, played with a lot of energy, and there was a couple things that happened as the game progressed that kind of got our dander up a little bit, and it was like it woke us up a little bit, and I thought we played with a lot more energy after that.
Well, and you know, you go through a course of the season, there's going to be a handful of games where it is not your A game for whatever reason. You're not shooting well. Maybe the energy isn't to where you'd like, but good teams find a way to win those games, and I thought last night was one of those for your squad, and they did just that. They had that nice run in the second half to get a little separation and found a way to win.
They're not all going to be a thing of beauty. You know, sometimes you have those games that just click and everything goes well, and you make the shots and you make your free throws. And you know, last night Chelsea kind of had a hard time getting going, and when we stretched it out is when she hit it 2 or 3 from the outside. Kate wasn't near as sharp at the free throw line as she had been. I mean, she's improved that, you know, 10% from last year. So there's just a few things that like you said, they aren't always going to go right, and that's a nice thing about playing at home. Usually you have a better chance of finding a way to pull those games out. And while that game, you know, midway through the second half, I don't think it was ever really in question. I always felt like we had the game in hand, but at the same time, you know, with the three-point play anymore, it can really turn on you quickly.
Well, the Lady Tigers take care of business, now 12-1, and probably more importantly, 5-0 and tied for first with Emporia State in the MIAA, now getting set for a couple of key road games, certainly challenging road games, Thursday night at Lindenwood, and then Saturday afternoon in Jefferson City against Lincoln University. We'll take a break and certainly talk more about that when we return. The program brought to you again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine and Hayes, where the fire's always burning. Back with more and head women's coach Tony Hobson right after this on Tiger Talk. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Welbrock, head women's coach Tony Hobson. The program brought to you by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill. Stop on in for their great appetizers. Some new menu items they added before the end of the year last year. Some great things to check out at Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine in Hayes. 12-1 Lady Tigers set for 2 road games on Thursday and Saturday, and we'll get into those a little bit. I want to ask you about Carrie Ann Shaw. She gets her first career double-double on Monday night. You had 2 of them, Kate Lehman and Carrie Ann, and we've talked so many times. She does so many little things that never show up in a stat sheet. And on a night where it was a little bit of a struggle offensively, she stepped up and hit some key shots in that first half, and her and Kate really working together on that high-low game. It was really fun to see, and then ties her career high in points and sets a new one in rebounding.
Well, it's always kind of rewarding to see, you know, a player like Carrie that is just she does the dirty little things, and she always gets the assignment of their best perimeter player. And so she has to chase them around all game, and I think sometimes that takes away a little bit of her offensive game, but she's more than willing to do that for the success of the team. And so last night, one thing that Carrie does do is move well without the ball, because she doesn't occupy the ball that much. So she knows enough that when Kate gets it and there's a double team, that, you know, she's on that backside and she dives. So she got a couple layups that way, and she hit a couple 15-footers. She's always been able to attack the basket well. So, you know, offensively it was a good game for her, and she's a good rebounder. You know, the first thing you have to do to get a rebound is go to the boards. Very few people get one if they don't go try. And one thing Carrie does is she goes to the boards every time. Plays with a lot of intensity, and she's just a tough kid, and just a great one to have on the team. Great teammate, because like you said, she screens hard. She sets a lot of flare screens for our shooters, and just is a great glue person.
And Kate Lehman, another double-double, 20 and 11. She had 8 blocked shots, so she was teetering with a triple-double. And MIAA Player of the Week, again, 4th time in, 3 out of 4 weeks. And I know we've talked in the past, after a while you expect him to distribute that to someone else, but every time out she just continues to put up great numbers.
Well, we just take it for granted. You know, and after the game in the locker room, you know, Kate says, "Man, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't play very well tonight." And I'm going, "Well, okay." Her not very well is still pretty decent. 2 blocks away from another triple-double, and I think she was referring more to a few missed free throws that she's been knocking down. But Kate had another solid game, and she's, you know, she's the player in the conference right now that everybody has to game plan for. They completely change what they're accustomed to doing, and you know, sometimes that throws the defense off a little bit too, because we've got teams playing zone against us that don't normally play zone, and as a coach, I know how hard that is to change defenses in the middle of the week and practice it for a couple days, and sometimes you aren't that good at it. But people are paying a lot of attention to her, and for her to get these kind of numbers and continue to play like she has is just a testament to how good she is, because they're really trying to take her out of games.
All right, Tigers getting set now to take on Lindenwood Thursday night as they hit the road for a couple of games and key conference games. And Lindenwood's got a home win over Washburn already this year. They got beat on Monday, but had been playing pretty decent. This will be certainly a challenging road trip for you guys starting on Thursday night.
Well, again, you know, you have to look at who they're playing, and they've played Washburn, they've played Pitt, they've played Emporia. Mm-hmm. And they beat, like you said, they have a home win over Washburn. So they're a dangerous team. They've got the leading scorer in the conference. I think she's averaging 21 or 2. So they've got a real go-to player. They've got a couple of post players, 6'1" kids that are very active and really play hard. And then they have a nice point guard. So they've got a good mix of players that are capable of really causing a team some trouble.
Any update on Jill, kind of game by game, day by day, see how she heals?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that she'll be available on Thursday for at least some limited action. We don't know for sure, but it's just a day by day thing. I was just real when I went across the floor when she was down. Once I heard it's my ankle, then I just turned around and went back to the bench. I just, you know, I mean, it's not like it's a small deal, but you just don't want to hear it was my knee. So it's day by day, and I think hopefully we'll have her back for at least some part-time duty this weekend.
All right, hopefully we get to see her out on the floor. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Good to have you back on the program as we get into the swing here in January, and we'll see you out at St. Charles, a long trip on Thursday night.
Okay, thanks, Gerard.
That is head coach Tony Hopson. Again, the ladies at 5:30, the men at 7:30 from St. Charles on Thursday, and then Saturday in Jefferson City against Lincoln. That'll be a 1:30 and 3:30 doubleheader. Tiger Talk brought to you again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, 3203 Vine, where the fire's always burning. We'll take a break, shift gears, and talk some men's basketball. Head coach Mark Johnson joins us next right here on Tiger Talk. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Gerard Walbrock and head men's basketball coach Mark Johnson. Program brought to you again by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill. And if you need any event, maybe an office gathering or a family gathering catered, as the weather eventually will warm back up, we move into the spring and summer, big family event, stop by and check out the catering service at Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, locally owned and operated, 3203 Vine in Hayes. Tiger men splitting a nice win on Saturday, a 10-point victory over Missouri Southern, then a gut-wrenching loss on Monday night to Southwest Baptist. And I guess we'll start with a fun game on Saturday, hard-fought game against a very good Missouri Southern team. And your team really answered the challenge and got a nice victory over the Lions.
Yeah, I thought we played really hard. I thought we guarded well, except for finding a way to slow down the Prince guy who went for a big night. I thought overall we limited their layups. We were physical. We ran really good offense, and we were able to pull out a hard-fought victory. And it took that kind of effort for us to win, and kind of got us off going here the start of the second semester, and then just kind of had a definite letdown the next game.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because you had the 10-point lead in the second half. Things were looking good, and then couldn't hit a shot. They got hot, but after falling behind by 7, I think your team did a great job of rebounding to give themselves a chance to win it there at the end.
Yeah, I thought we played, we guarded well in the first half. They're a deliberate team. They run that motion offense. They really wear you out. They make you guard. Thought we did a good job, and I thought we had a little bit of lull in the second half. I thought we were just fatigued. I thought it affected us on both ends. I thought defensively we were a little tired from chasing them around, and then I thought that affected our offense. I don't know if we didn't have our legs under us, so we didn't shoot the ball, and that's been our problem at times this year. we don't get a whole lot of at to the basket post moves. We don't have a whole lot of action outside of Craig dribbling it to the rim. So we go through stretches where we don't make jump shots, and so we go through lulls offensively, and it's hard to maintain your lead when you're not scoring. And we went through that stretch, and then I thought when we were down 7, our guys really showed a lot of grit and toughness to get the game tied, and we had the ball with 22 seconds to go. Tie, you feel like worst case, you lose in overtime. And I think if we did lose in overtime, I mean, losing's never easy, but it would at least have sat a little better than what happened. We kind of, didn't be aggressive enough on the offensive end. And I really don't think we shot it that quickly. I think your goal, you tell your team all the time, is, hey, we want to shoot it with about 3 seconds to go to at least give us one chance of an offensive rebound. We just didn't. We shot an air ball and went out of bounds. You know what I mean? And that gave them a little extra time. And it's the old adage of, do you put a guy on the ball or not put a guy on the ball? I mean, I think when it works, it was the right decision. I think they made a great play. We took them out of their options, and they just had their final option, and the guy made a great pass, great catch, and we kind of I think we just got a little tight. We didn't want to foul in that moment, and the guy turned the corner and made a great play.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate the way the game ended, and after a team really battled, and it seems like maybe defensively starting to slowly turn a corner. I know there were a couple of possessions in that second half you'd like to have back, but it seems like maybe a little bit more toughness, and the defense has gotten better since the Christmas break.
It has. I mean, our front line needs to do better. I mean, you look at the guys that really wore us out against SBU. I think number one, he was averaging 3 points, 1 rebound. He goes for 16 and 7. I mean, the power forwards in our league right now are wearing us out. I mean, that's the position. I thought our guards did a good job. We just need our big guys to be able to battle. Hey, we're a little bit undersized there, and those guys are a lot more physical than us. I mean, body types and things like that, and so we have some issues there, but we got to find a way to overcome that.
And got to find a way for keep Dom Somich on the floor. He just never felt like he was a part of it. He picked up those 2 early fouls, and it seems like he's had a tough whistle, but he goes out and maybe 2 or 3 plays. He just probably needs to back off and don't be as aggressive, and he gets himself in trouble.
Well, the first foul he did foul, you know what I mean, and that's the one he's got to kind of eliminate. The second one was, that's just a ridiculous call. That can't happen. The guy who called that has to be better than that. But I mean, if he would have eliminated that first one, then that second one doesn't hurt you as bad. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. He's getting 5 fouls, and he's probably only 2 or 3 of them at most are fouls. But when that's the case, you got to eliminate those couple of those silly fouls, because being a big guy, you're going to get some phantom whistles. It's not just him; it happens to other people on other teams. But we need him more on the floor. He's the one guy that gives us an offensive presence, and he played 14 minutes again last night because of foul trouble.
Well, the Tigers need to find a way to bounce back. Tough one on Thursday. They'll be in St. Charles to take on Lindenwood, and we'll talk all about it when we return to Tiger Talk right after this. Welcome back. It's our final segment on Tiger Talk, and it's brought to you by Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill. Some great steak menu items on the menu, great appetizers. Check them out at Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, locally owned and operated, 3203 Vine in Hayes. Tigers now try to bounce back from the heartbreaking loss to Southwest Baptist on Monday. They'll be in St. Charles to take on maybe one of the hottest teams in the conference right now. Lindenwood's won 4 in a row, and they were kind of up and down early on. They seem to have found their stride right now. This is maybe not what you needed this time of the year. It's going to be a tough one on Thursday.
Yeah, we have a big road trip for us. Lindenwood, they started off slow. They have a couple, quite a few actually Division I transfers. They went out to a tournament early in the year with Emporia, and they went 0-2. And I talked to Emporia's coach. I said, "Is Lindenwood just down this year, struggling?" And his thoughts were, "Hey, I think they're going to be pretty good. They just haven't figured it out yet. And once they do, they're going to be a good team." And I think they're starting to get to that spot. They got a lot of size. You look at them in Northwest Missouri, just shoot an unbelievable percentage from 3. I mean, they're shooting 44% as a team from 3, and they got a lot of big guards, 6'5", 6'6" guards, big guys up, 6'10" guy inside, another 6'6" guy. So, I mean, they shoot it and have size. If they have a weakness, they're not the most athletic team, but it's a hard place to play, and we'll have to play probably our best game of the year so far if we expect to win that one.
Yeah, you mentioned 44% shooting, but it's something like 55% over the last 5 games, and that's probably maybe one thing that has changed for them. They're shooting it overall and from beyond the arc at an incredible pace right now.
Yeah, shooting makes up for a lot of things. If you can put the ball in the hole, that'll give yourself a chance to win games. I feel like for us, we're not shooting the ball that well. You look at the last couple games, I think we were 34 last night and 20-something the night before. You look at SBU, they were 31% going to that game, and me and their coach talked at the shoot-around. It was like, hey, if we could ever start making some perimeter shots, I think we have a pretty good team, and I agreed with them. And a team that shoots 31% shoots 47% against us, and they played a great game. So sometimes you got to be able to put the ball in the basket, and they can do it.
Yeah, and I guess a chance now to see what this team is made of. And you got guys, obviously, they want to win, and they're trying to do the right things. But this is kind of a gut check time and kind of a crossroads in the season here, these next few games.
Yeah, these 4 games, we talked about it after we got back from Christmas break, is really, this is a sense of urgency, and these 4 games are probably going to make or break our season. We walked away, you wanted to go 4, but you're like, hey, if we can go 3-1, we put ourselves in a good spot. So, we still have a chance to do that. We've made it very hard on ourselves. But we can't let what happened against SBU affect us this weekend. And let me tell you, there was a lot of hurt guys in the locker room, and that's a hard way to lose, and I feel bad for our guys.
Well, hopefully can bounce back and get on a winning streak starting on Thursday. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. We will see you in St. Charles Thursday night.
All right, thank you.
That's head coach Mark Johnson, and the Tigers again at Lindenwood, 5:30 for the women, 7:30 for the men, 5:10 Auto World pregame on Tiger Radio Mix 103. Then Saturday afternoon in Jefferson City to take on Lincoln, 1:30 and 3:30 on the air at 1:10 with the Auto World pregame show. That's going to wrap up Tiger Talk. Again, we'll be back on Monday next week with our regularly scheduled program, and it's always brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams, Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, James Motor Company, BTI, and of course from Whiskey Creek Wood Fire Grill, where the fire is always burning at 3203 Vine in Hayes. For women's coach Tony Hobson, men's coach Mark Johnson, this is Gerard Wellbrock. So long, everyone.
It's the Fort Hays State University Coaches Show on Eagle Community Television, brought to you by Eagle Communications.